What is Kundalini Shakti if we remove the fear or the glamour?
There's a journey of a sacred goddess in you that is coiled up in the bottom of your spine 3.5 times. Once she uncoils, she comes up, and it's like a Vayu wind going up, and you go through earth, water, fire, air, akasha, and then the third eye opens.
How did the rishi started hacking this?
To see that explosive heavens that you can go to, so death becomes easier.
Sometimes there is spontaneous awakenings that are happening, that what they like to call
It's an energy. It sits inside you and it unfurls. So at first it feels like unfurling energies.
we perceive the energy as beautiful and light and feminine, but it can get terrifying too.
Imagine you could see everything. You'd freak out.
Thank you so much for coming back to Into the Beyond, Rajada. I know
My favorite place in Delhi.
last time a lot of conversations were stirred, right? And talking about stirring, this time we want to talk about the stirring Shakti. Let's say, my first question to you is, what is Kundalini Shakti if we remove the fear or the glamour and really look at the Shakti as a primordial intelligence in all of us?
Well, with any subject like this, there are 3 ways to look at it. One is we call exoteric, which is stories, mythologies, religion, And so from an exoteric point of view, Kundalini has been known for thousands of years. You see it in the dragons of China, in the serpents of Mesopotamia and Sumeria, in Egypt, in even 7,500 BC serpents in Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, right? And the Quetzalcoatl of Mexico and the Toltemic. So this is a cultural motif, the serpent, the dragon, the intertwining serpent that's been with us for thousands of years, right? In India is where it became a yogic process, right, in India. Particularly because of one real teacher called Matsyendranath, the Kaula tradition, right? And so I'll come to that in a bit, but so exoterically, it has been a part of human culture, and then it got demonized. So when the Christian tradition started, the snake became evil, right? So, and the snake has always represented sacred feminine energy, which means nature, sexuality, power, all the things that men and civilizations are scared of, right? And so the serpent was always that power. In India, the most ancient idea we have of Kundalini is the Nagas.
Yeah.
In fact, before the Gupta period, when Sanskrit became really big, the kings of India were called Nagarajas. So if you go to middle of India, where Ayodhya is now, these were Nagaraja kingdoms.
Yeah.
They were all Nagas, so all the symbols were motifs, were serpents everywhere. And that got removed with the more Vedic civilization coming, So it's a very ancient tradition, right? So that's the exoteric. That means it's been around. The esoteric is that let's not talk about the evolutionary biology yet. We have an inner power in us, every human being, that remains dormant at birth. At birth, it comes into full flourish. So a child is fully awake, a baby, right? Because it has to open its third eye, connect to the mother, get all its tools, get all its things. But once the child starts maturing and something happens, and this energy seems to go down, and it coils up in the anus area, just below the spinal cord, in what we call the Muladhara.
Yeah.
And for most people, it never comes up. Most people don't even know, but it'll come up during sexual orgasm, during sunset, horripilation of the skin, during fear and trauma. That's when it also comes, Terrifying things all horripilation will occur, tingling up the spine, feelings. So this comes up once in a while, but then it goes back down,
Hmm.
right? But esoterically, we cultivated in India different ways. Around the world, it was done through psychedelics first
Hmm.
to awaken this energy continuously for the shaman, the priest, the witch doctor,
Yeah.
the yogi, right? And then in India, they were able to cultivate a process of doing this without medicine,
Hmm.
which we now call Kundalini Yoga or
Yeah.
Kundalini Shakti, right? And they were able to do it through breath, right? Or through mantra, or through, and psychedelic breath, mantra are the three only ways you can wake this up,
Hmm.
right? And severe concentration,
Yeah.
tapas, real concentration, right? Now, what happens when you wake this up,
Hmm.
right? So the best way to look at it is that consciousness, this universe, if we could see it as it really is, we can't handle it. We are limited to our five senses and this little puny brain.
Mhm.
Imagine you could see everything. You'd freak out.
Hmm.
Every color, every being, every energy, everything is like 40,000 volts coming boom into your head. You won't be able to handle it, right? So part of the esoteric tradition is that to handle that perception,
Hmm.
you awaken this power, and it's like opening a telephone line to your divine self. So why do we wake up Kundalini? So we can connect our nature, our Shakti, our
Hmm.
inner power to that consciousness which is everywhere.
Hmm.
And if I can connect the two, Kundalini is the tool, the way this happens, right?
Yeah.
It's like and we call it a Shakti because it's a goddess.
Hmm.
It's an energy.
Hmm.
It sits inside you and it unfurls. So at first it feels like unfurling energies twirling round and round and round. And then it starts to do something very subtle. It
Hmm.
goes up the middle of the spinal cord.
Yeah.
And when it does that, all what we call the chakras, the padmas, all open. And when they open and finally the third eye opens, we become a vessel
Hmm.
to receive that grace, that power, that energy.
Hmm.
So, Kundalini at its very basic level is a biological gift every human being has, but very few know how to use or wake up or love. But if you do bhakti, you can wake it up. If you do any of the yogas, you can wake it up, right? You can do it. The third part I wanted to talk about is the science of this,
Hmm.
right? So, if this is an evolutionary function that's in every human being,
Yeah.
why isn't it awake all the time?
Hmm.
Why is it only awake during early years of childhood,
Hmm.
right? Or maybe at death to open the third eye to give you a better death,
Right.
right? So you see the heavens before you go, right? That's the only time. So in psychedelic terms, we would say that this some parts of it are DMT release, this kind of chemical that releases at death
Mm-hmm.
to see that explosive heavens that you can go to. So death becomes easier. So, and for a child, it is preparing the consciousness for life,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So the DMT comes heavily in a child and heavily at the end of life.
Yeah.
But during life, but then these shamans, these witch doctors, these people started to discover that you could get it from plants,
Hmm.
you could get it from yoga, you could get it from ayahuasca, from grapevine, from psilocybin, from other things,
Right.
mold, fungus. These things could give you these trips
Hmm.
and you would die.
Hmm.
So, in a way, the shamans used to describe it as rebirth.
Hmm.
That the most ancient practitioner of this in Egyptian terms was called Thoth, the god Thoth, and later he becomes Hermes Trismegistus, and Trismegistus means thrice majestic born.
Hmm.
Jesus was
Hmm.
called second twice born,
Yeah.
right? So you have to die. So a shaman has to die
Yeah.
because DMT experience is like death. So let's look at it scientifically. If there is this energy, why don't we have it during our lives?
Hmm.
Right? Why is it not natural? So that's what the shamans were really curious about, you know? And today, I think psychonauts and psychedelic seekers are looking at that too, right? That is it maybe a human potential? Is it a next step evolutionary thing that we can activate? Now, that's exciting, right?
Yeah.
What if this is the key to the next step that we're going to take?
Yeah.
Right? Now, that changes everything, doesn't it? It stops it being a frightening thing or a serpent or all this thing. It suddenly becomes a superpower.
And it's
right?
also the fact that, humans have been stagnant for a while. I mean, there is stagnation that's happening, while I choose to believe not for every human on this earth, but most of us are stagnant. And maybe that is the key to
What do you
unlock.
mean by stagnant? Let's look at that word.
When
Go deeper into it.
When I say stagnation, it might not be fully, completely stagnation, because we are evolving. We are getting technology now. We're getting AI. All of that evolutionary stuff are taking place. But aren't we still the same humans that could just vanish at any given point of time?
So we're not biologically moving forward.
We're biologically just kind
in
of
fact,
stuck.
we're slumping because of
We're
devices.
slumping. Yeah. The pictures that, circulates the internet when they show us that 50 years after, this is how humans are going to look like. It's terrifying.
And we'll become irrelevant also.
That's
We'll
true
become
too.
half biological beings in a way, and half machine.
Yeah.
And AI in a way, or more. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at that for a second. Like this human being, Homo sapien sapien, also called Cro-Magnon man, right, has been around for approximately 200,000 years. Now, the evolution of this person, this being, most scientists believe it happened in Africa because something happened in the savannah, in the jungles. So people had to stand up and see higher. So we became vertical. One, spinal cord made us straight. Two, we developed thumbs, right? Thumbs. Three, we developed a vocal cord that no other animal had.
Yeah.
And we developed a massive neocortex. Now, these weird things happen, right? You couldn't write a science fiction movie better than this one, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like some alien came 200,000 years ago, took a serpent, took a monkey, mixed them all together, and made us. It feels like that, right? So what you're arguing is that form has not had an intervention since then for 200,000 years, let's say.
Yeah.
So we are now trying to intervene ourselves with AI, with biohacking, with technology, with chips, with everything.
Humans are trying their level best
So
to do
we
everything.
want to be the scientist who can create the next gen human, the superhuman, right? They're all trying to do that, right?
Yeah.
Why do we want to be superhuman? Because we don't want to age. We don't want to suffer. We want clarity. We want mind, right? So the yogi said, fuck, we've been doing that always. Why are you suffering like that? Practice this yoga and you live for 300 years. Why not?
Yeah.
But how many can do that? How many can go and do that kind of tapas where you don't eat, you live on air, you're Babaji in the mountains? Not possible.
Yeah.
No, who's going to do that today? And then even if you do that, the chances of failure are very high.
So my question, Rajana, to this entire thing is this energy, can we control it on our own, or does it have a mind of its own and it wakes up when she wants to wake up?
That's a very good question. If you know how to work with her, it becomes a symbiotic relationship. That means equal partners. If you don't know how to work with her, she'll take over. And if you think you're going to take over, good luck. It's not that way. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So if you're going to mess with her,
Yeah.
A, you have to give her respect.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes they use the word surrender, humility, submit to the mother, bhakti, devotion.
Yeah.
These are all words for I am not in control. Right? Something is happening to me.
Right.
But the way it works is that if this unfolds, you do develop psychological siddhi powers, right? And they can make your ego go kaboom, right? But then the only way you can manage that power is with humility.
Yeah.
So it's a symbiotic co-relationship that if I get this power, I have to become humble.
Yeah.
It's and those that don't, they succeed, but then things happen. You know, shit happens, life happens. You know, so is the mother energy in everyone all the time? It is in nature.
Yeah.
It is in other animals in some respect because they're part of the flow of this biosphere we're on.
Yeah.
Right? So one way of looking at it, okay, let's look at it from an evolutionary point of view. We are one living organism on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Right? Let's call it the biosphere. Right? Spinoza, the great philosopher, called it a substance. That everything is one substance. The stuff around the earth, the whole world, galaxies, everything is one substance.
Yeah.
And in Sanskrit, we say Om Purnamadah, Purnamidam, Purnata Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadhaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. This is from the Upanishads. And it means that all of this is one substance, one perfect thing.
Yeah.
Everything we are comes out of that one thing, bloop, and goes back into that one thing. When it comes out of the one thing, Purnamada Purnamidam, Purnata Purnamudachyate, when it comes out, that perfect thing stays perfect. Doesn't change. And this is also perfect. So I am perfect. But this is also perfect. And then when it goes back, bloop, I'm still perfect. And it's still perfect. So what that means is that you think that this life, you're born, you live, you die, is the most important thing there is. All of us do. Because there's no other possible reality we can think about. But for a yogi who wakes up this energy, you are now part of that Purna. In fact, Sri Aurobindo called integral yoga Purna yoga. The whole yoga. The yoga of the whole.
Yeah.
Right? So ask yourself this question. At the ultimate state of this yoga is to become one with this substance.
Yeah.
So I don't die. Right? And even if my consciousness, my body might die, but consciousness will continue in this whole. This is the whole thesis, right? So the reason we wake up this energy is so that we can be part of that whole. You can call it Shiva, you can call it Brahman, you can call it the substance, you can call it the all mind, you can call it whatever.
Yeah.
But all religions agree that as it comes down from substance to one thing, there are layers, levels. There are levels.
Yeah.
So we have lost that one perfection. And by the time we get to me, I've forgotten that I am that one substance. I forgot. The baby knows because Kundalini is fully awake in the baby.
Yeah.
But once the baby grows up and is taught language, culture, you are Hindu, Brahmin, this, that, bus, disconnection from that whole. So what does Kundalini awakening do? Reconnects me to the whole. And we call it the Mahamaya, the great mother. Right? The whole is, for us in Tantra, it's the whole Mahamaya.
Yeah.
Then there's a in-between mother called the Yogmaya, right? Which is sometimes Mahakali, Parvati, those forms, which are the mother that's neither that emptiness nor this, in between.
Yeah.
And then there's Maya, this illusion that I'm living in, that I'm disconnected.
So it is pure remembrance. It is pure remembrance.
It's memory. It is remembering where you have come from. That you are not this puny little human being. Right? So, if I was to do it with Neuralink,
Yeah.
with Tesla, or with one of Musk's technology, or the future of ChatGPT, which is going to be, you know, AI,
AGI.
Gen AI, no,
Yeah.
just AI, AGI. What will happen is that, is it going to become sentient and realize it is the one, right? Or is it going to help me realize that I am all of this organism, this beautiful world? Then I see the earth as one, then I can't hurt the earth.
Yeah.
Then I can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Then I can't hurt anybody because I am now one,
Yeah.
right? So what happens to a yogi when you wake up Kundalini is you become extremely compassionate and kind and loving, and you can't see anybody suffer.
Yeah.
So just to conclude my thinking on this issue, we've known about it for thousands of years. We have developed hacking techniques to cultivate it, shamans, and I'll talk about that in a little bit with you. And then we're looking at the evolutionary nature of it as a potential for human evolution to move towards whole as the next stage. And I think that's the exciting part for me, is that if I can control the awakening of this worldwide, like give everybody the red pill and make it available nicely, then will we become better human beings? And then evolve in that way. Psychic evolution, as Aurobindo called it, right? That's the wonderful, exciting part about it.
Rajat, I think you've not just experientially lived this entire Shakti, but you've researched on this for years now, right? And would you like to take us back to, let's take an example of a country like India. When did this experimentation or working with this energy start? How did the rishis started hacking this? Would you like to talk about that?
I think that we see traces of it in the Indus Valley, and in caves, and the shaman with the trident, the yoni symbol. We see in Indus Valley the linga. We see the Proto Shiva, Pashupati. We see the seven sisters. We see references that could be seen as tracing it back to the seven chakras and the Kundalini and those kind of things, right? But even in the Rig Veda, which let's say could be anywhere from 3000 to 1500 BC, there's no reference to this inner energy,
right,
as such. But it's a very elemental religion. They see everything as nature, as earth, water, fire, air, Agni, Vayu, all these things are there, which later become references to inner wind, inner power. So there's a shift from outer to inner around, I would say, around the Buddha's time, 600 BC, 1000 BC to 600 BC. It happens. Big inner shift. Yoga comes big way, right? Then you see people talking about the inner Atma. That this Atma is that. Right? You start seeing references to Antarmukha, inner, the inner soul, the inner being, right? And even then, you don't see references to Shakti very much. There's one reference in the Rig Veda to Shakti, which is the Vakambini, the Rishika, the female rishi in the Rig Veda. She talks about, I am this earth, I am the gods, I am all these things. So the Aham is first mentioned there, which is the core of which Kundalini comes from, which is this I am, I am this Shakti, I am this nature, I am this power. So you can see the traces there, but it's still very abstract, right? The first time you really see it is with Buddha, right? And Jainism. Jainism and Sankhya religion were very much into this chakra system. If the earliest symbols of Jainism show the chakras, show the Ida Pingala, show the third eye, show all these things. And the Buddha used that also, right? So it was maybe part of the various local cultures like Shramana culture, but not the Vedic culture as such, right? You don't see it that much. But they integrated it slowly, right? This idea. So in the Rig Veda, you see the reference to the third eye. Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhana mrityora mukshiyamamritat. That's in the Rig Veda. That's saying, oh, three-eyed one, right? Give me immortality, right? So there was a kind of reference to these kind of things that you can see traces that were known all over the world, right? Shamanic, these kind of chemical. And the people of the Rig Veda were taking soma. So it could have been a psychedelic. It could have been a way of awakening, right? So they were doing it through substance and plant medicine in a big way. And then later on it became mantra, much more, right? So yoga was the first evolution that we see towards this inner power, right? And that goes on even Sankhya, that time. But then the big shift happens later, around the 2nd, 3rd century, when people start discussing how to wake up. And these are called the agams, right? They start coming. And they sometimes know the Shiva Shakti dialogues or the Bhairavi dialogues. This is where we really get the culture of Kundalini started, right? But then the one who brought it all together was a great teacher in the 8th and 9th century called Matsyendranath, right? Matsyendranath was probably in Kama Rupa. He was a fisherman in Kama Rupa. And Kama Rupa is today Assam. Assam. So the kingdom of Kama Rupa was Assam, Bhutan, Nepal, Bengal, that region, little bit. Whole region there. So today, if you go to Bhutan, what is it? Tantra, Kundalini, everywhere. Right? You go to Nepal, everywhere. You go to Assam, Kamakya. Dash Mahavidyas all come out of there. So this was the core. Bengal, Kali, Durga, all come out of there. Right? So this was where the core of sacred feminine, and that's where Kundalini really grew up. And then Matsyendranath first just talked about Kundalini as waking up through Hatha Yoga and then mantra and things like that. And he taught that. And Gorakshanath and the Naths took that on. But then, around the 15th century, a tradition had emerged in Bengal called the Siddha tradition. The Siddha masters, they were called. They were in Buddhism, they were in Tantra, they were in all. There was one particular tradition, a book that came out called the Shat Chakra Nirupana. Secret book, very secret, but it described the 6 chakras and the sounds to wake up the 6 chakras and how to lift Mother Kundalini from her base to the 3rd eye. Right. That was the one. That was the first time somebody had written it down in a manual. And it was like a manual. If you read it, and I teach it, it's like a psychedelic manual. You will see the color blue. The goddess will come as a gray cloud. She has large breasts. She'll come like this. It'll be this color. You'll see a fire. It'll tell you step by step what experience you'll have, right, along
It's
the
like
way. It's literally a manual.
documentation.
It's literally a manual for how not to freak out, right? But the whole thing was kept secret. So it was always, shh, don't do it. But then it took one Englishman. He had to be an Englishman. And he was an Indophile called Arthur Woodruff. And he took this, and his pen name was Arthur Avalon, right? And Sir John Woodruff. And his pen name was Arthur Avalon. And in 1912, he took that book and translated it with a Bengali tantric, and they translated it together. And it became the Serpent Fire. And that was the first time the world knew about Kundalini. And it went to England. It went all over the world. People. And if you look, Yogananda, Sri M, Guruji Amritananda, all the teachers that we hear and talk about today, all of them had that book. It was like the guidebook, like to read it. So that book described a very interesting thing. It said, there's a journey of a sacred goddess in you that is coiled up in the bottom of your spine 3.5 times. And once she uncoils, she comes up. And it's like a Vayu wind going up. And you go through earth, water, fire, air, Akasha. And then the 3rd eye opens. And then grace comes. Sahasrara. That was the first time anybody had described it
Yeah.
in a vivid detail in English
Yeah.
and in Hindi and in Sanskrit, all.
Hmm.
So then it became known, right? So that was the history of its coming.
Beautiful.
So today, everything we have, so in the West, and a lot of my audience who are watching this are in America and Canada and UK, you think of Kundalini as the Kundalini yoga of Yogi Bhajan. It's not. Yogi Bhajan taught Hatha yoga, the older warrior way, masculine way of awakening Kundalini, which is through willpower, right? Breathing,
Yeah.
power. No, 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 no. The real tantric way is Shakti. She's a goddess.
Very feminine.
She's the Mother Earth. She's in you as nature.
Yeah.
She's the mother.
Yeah.
So we tantrics, Shakti tantrics, see her as the mother. She's taken on many forms through the years. She was Kubjika in Kashmir and Nepal. She was Siddha Lakshmi. She's been all kinds of names. Tripura Sundari. So many names. Bhairavi.
Yeah.
So many names for this power, right? But she's the mother, So in Shakti Tantra, what we say, and this is the other big revelation, it went back to something in the Shiva Puranas and Devi Puranas about the goddess Sati. Do you know about the goddess Sati? I talked about it. So the goddess Sati, people think of Parvati and Shiva as the male, female, or Shiva Shakti. There was a form before Parvati called Sati, who came to the world first. Adi Shakti came to the world first as Sati. But she killed herself because humanity insulted her. Her father insulted her. And when she killed herself, she didn't die. She was immortal. But they cut her body into 51 parts. And Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra cut her into 51. And she fell all over India. And we call them the Shaktipitams. So Shaktipitams are in all over India.
Yeah.
All of you have heard of them. You can do a pilgrimage to all of them. You can go and they're 50.
Yeah.
One is hidden. We don't know where it is. One is hidden, right? One is hidden. So that culture became later what we now know as Sri Vidya, which is the petals and the lotuses and the 50 petals of the goddess inside the Kundalini. And these are now what we call Shakti Bija mantras. So you can wake up Kundalini. Can I give an example?
Yes, please.
Is it all right? So I'm going to chant from the Shat Chakra Nirupana, right? How to wake up Ma, just you and me right now, right? You want to wake up? It's a good idea. Why not? So the first sound is Lam. Muladhara. Lam. The second sound is Swadhisthana. Liquids. Serpent swirling. Vam. The third sound is fire in the belly. Chandi, goddess. Ram. The fourth sound is the Anahata Chakra, the heart. Blue, green, emerald, beautiful, 12-petal lotus in your heart. Yum. Then you come to the throat and 16 petals of Krishna, or 16 petals of blue. Just blue's Akasha. You're cutting your head off for Akasha. Hum. And then you come to the Agya Chakra, the third eye, which is where you will perceive the grace of the Divine Mother. Om. And now this Shat Chakra Japa prepares the body to receive the grace and awakens Ma Kundalini. So just by doing the Shat Chakra Japa, you will wake up Ma Kundalini. And you can do it in one go, like we can do it one at a time and focus on each chakra, or you can go it in one go. Lam vam ram yam ham om. Lam vam ram yam Hum Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Hum Om. Now, close your eyes and feel that vibration tickling up your spine and allow the mother to wake up inside you. The entire Shat Chakra Japa, the entire Shat Chakra Nirupana, the Sri Vidya path, the Kalikula path. Kali is sometimes 12. There are parts in the Hatha Yoga path of 9 chakras. There are parts of, we can go, Kaula is 9 sometimes and 12. That doesn't matter. These Shat Chakra, these 6 petals, if awaken, prepare the body, purify the body, awaken the Shakti, and receive, then the grace can come. This is, if I could put the teaching in a nutshell, that's it. There's nothing else to do.
Beautiful.
Now you can give each one a goddess. You can do all kinds of things. You can say, oh, that's Chandi, that's the Tripura Sundari, that's Ma Durga, that's this, that. That's fine. All that we teach, but that's not important. Are you a living Shakti? That's all.
I mean, beautiful. I mean, people watching this at home really got the taste of it. But I do have a perspective, Rajat, and a big question that in the circles, it is like hundreds of people have tried to do, they were hackers basically trying to figure ways around to wake this up in multiple different ways. And we still have those hackers alive today that are hacking it out.
Yeah, I am one.
Sometimes there is spontaneous awakenings that are happening that can also lead to what they like to call psychosis also. Like it might not, I'm not trying to fearmonger or bring this question from a state of just fear questioning, but a legitimate question around, we perceive the energy as beautiful and light and feminine, but it can get terrifying too.
So let's look at how Kundalini comes to the world in the last 100 years, right? So at first, Arthur Avalon's book.
Yeah.
Suddenly everybody becomes a guru now. They have the book. They have the picture of the serpent. They got the Ida Pingala.
The serpent
And they
power.
discover, oh, there are all these elaborate art we can do. There's art that they find of Ida Pingala, serpents twining up like staff of Hermes. Those pictures were not in India. Very rarely. Very rare school will have it. It came in the last 100 years, these pictures. So you think you're looking at a 1,000-year-old painting. No. 100 years. The only place you see the intertwining serpent in India that's 1,000 years old, Kerala. Nagarjuna, the Naga people of Kerala. So that means they've been practicing that in some form for at least 1,000 years there. Some say back to Mahabharata. Okay, fine. Maybe the Naga kings of the Madhya Pradesh, maybe, right? In the early days, 2,000 years ago. But that was a lost knowledge, right? So maybe preserved in Nagaland, preserved in Nepal, preserved in tantric places. Okay, fine. It was preserved mostly in secret mystery schools. So you can go, there's a beautiful temple in Kerala. And if you go to my website, you'll find out about it. It is where you can do and worship Nagarjuna. And every year, the women priests take out the serpent and play with the cobra. Right? In fact, there are cults in South India that takes cobra venom to awaken ecstatic states, like ayahuasca. Very similar. It's more dangerous, but it can be done. It can be done. The snake venom has a psychedelic property, right? For all the psychonauts out there, don't do it. but don't do it. It's like licking a toad. It's the same thing. You can do snake venom. In fact, there's a video of Jagi Vasudevan doing snake cobra venom. So it's there. That culture is there. In the south in particular, where cobras are everywhere, where are cobras? Cobras are down south and in the mountains, right? Cobra.
Yeah.
You go to Nagaland, Nepal, East, cobras everywhere, right? So people got bit all the time. People had awakenings all the time. Who knows what they got out of it, The other part was that in the last 100 years, certain schools started to emerge, and the greatest of which I will name them now, where Swami Muktananda, he was the greatest Kundalini practitioner of the last 70 years. The greatest. Not Yogananda, none of those. From Kundalini awakening point of view, was Swami Muktananda. If you're going to read a book, you read his book. Right? That was one of the first books I read, was Muktananda. Right? Muktananda. Then there were other great teachers who used this knowledge, like Osho, like Swami Rama, like who were all practitioners of Kaula. So this is called Kaula, this tradition, right? Kaula. So they were the first great teachers. But then every Tom, Dick, and Harry started doing this. And there was exploitation, there was transmission without control.
Without consent.
Without consent, sexual exploitation, right? Especially with all the Western hippie tourists coming. The yogis went mad here, white women coming and everybody going nuts, right? So it became an industry. It became an industry. I remember coming to Nepal in the 90s and seeing sadhus wearing Rolex watches with dreadlocks, riding Harley Davidson bikes, smoking ganja. I thought, yeah, man. This is a whole new world we're living in now, and I think that the fascination of the Western mind started in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
They started coming to India. And they were bringing dollars, they were bringing ideas. And so it became a cottage industry, right? So, but it's now matured, right? So we have some really good teachers now, like Jagi Vasudevan, like others, who are using Kriya Yoga or Shambhavi Mudra or other things to teach these practices, right? Yeah. They're there. And they all maintain schools that are very good lineages, But the Kaula tradition, very few. Very few. So my teacher was Guruji Amritananda of Devipuram. Yeah. He taught Kundalini awakening from the Sri Vidya point of view, which is Kaula tradition, right? But there are still schools of Aghoris, there are schools of Dark Tantra, Dash Mahavidyas that all claim to awaken Kundalini. And so I think that people have fallen victim to exploitation, to not reading books and doing it themselves and not knowing what happened to them.
Yeah.
So when you say what did you call it?
Spontaneous
awakening of Kundalini. No such thing.
You just worsted it. What do you mean by that? No spontaneous awakening.
There's no such thing. So, okay. Now let's go to the origin theory of this, right? We say in Kaula, there are 3 types of Kundalini experience. Right. One is what can be called spontaneous, which is Prana Kundalini.
Yeah.
Right. That means you do a little yoga, you do a little mantra, and woo! Holy shit! Orgasms, tickling, bursting blood, everything goes, whoa!
Most of people who believe Kundalini
they're stuck at prana.
Yeah, that's the experience that we think.
First thing is prana. So prana is nothing to do with Kundalini Shakti. It is the preparation of the body for Shakti to wake up. Okay?
Yeah.
So we call it is a Shakti, we call it Prana Shakti. And there are 5 pranas, right? Apana, Samana, Prana, Vyana, the energy that goes out, and Udana, third eye opening. So you can do pranayama. So Kriya Yoga is one of those yogas that do all the pranas. It controls all the pranas. So you're controlling prana. So if you don't control the prana from Muladhara, Apana to Udana, in that route, you're going to freak out. Right? So if you come and I say, let's do this breathing, you'll freak out. Or I'll touch your forehead. And you have never practiced before. You're going to freak out. Or a suggestion. Or a thought. We humans are suggestible animals. If I tell you you're going to have a shaking awakening, you're going to have one. 6 people out of 10 will have one. Because they've been suggested. Oh, Yes, this is going to happen to me too.
Yeah.
Right? But people like Muktananda used to give Shakti, but used to prepare them. What did Osho do? If you take Osho's practices, he was the greatest practitioner because he would make people do grounding, he would make people do dancing, he would make people do energetic work before giving them awakening.
Yeah.
Right? What does that do? It takes care of prana Shakti.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. So first is, that's not Kundalini awakening. That's the beginning. Prana Shakti. Huh? Prana Kundalini. Second stage, we call it Chit Kundalini, which means that I am aware of it. It is now a subtle energy in me. It's an internal process, and I start becoming aware. Chakra by chakra, light by light, thought by thought. And it's more internal. It's still a little dramatic, right? Because you might see beings, you might see goddesses might come, Babaji might come, who knows what will come, somebody will come. Your archetypes will come for you.
Yeah.
They are here to help you. They are you projecting archetypes to help you. It's almost like saying, I'm now tapping into my higher self, and it's coming with projections that are helping me go up this journey through the chakras, right?
Yeah.
That is closer. That is when Ida and Pingala come into balance, the two sides. So there are three nadis, Ida on the left, Pingala on the right. When they're crazy, when they're crazy, we call it prana. They're serpents swirling, right?
Yeah.
So you think serpents are swirling in me. That's what most people think is Kundalini awakening. So first thing I do is stop that. Just ground them. And what is grounding done? In the most ancient tradition, grounding is done by Ganesh, the earth element.
Yeah.
Lam, we said earlier, Lam. But Ganesh sounds are also very good. Glom, Gum. So in the Sri Vidya tradition, we ground with Ganesh. Then we take the sexual surging of energies and we balance them in the middle, Sushumna.
Yeah.
And that is done with the spear of Kartik, the veil, right? Vam, but that's veil. So if you are from South India, you would have heard of the Murugan idea. Veil is a Murugan, spear of Kartik, the spear of Murugan, that opens the Sushumna. So that's the second stage of preparation. The third stage, you have this inner fire that comes. Now, most people think that's Kundalini awakening, but that is the first goddess you will meet. And we call her Chandi in the belly, Manipura, fire, Ram. And her mantra is beautiful. It is Aim Hriam Kliam Chamundaye Viche. Aim Hriam Kliam Chamundaye Viche. Aim Hriam Kliam Chamundaye Viche. Now, if I conquer these three, I am ready. Yeah? Because I'm controlling my animal nature, my desires, my madnesses, my stomach, my prana, my apana, my samana are under my control now. Now I can go to the higher regions. But without those three balanced, why are you doing anything? You should not do psychedelics without those three being balanced. You should not do Kundalini awakening. You should not go to a fucking guru and have your head touched. You should not do any of that shit. Ground yourself first, right?
So, Dada, would you like to? I think you bursted a big bubble that there is nothing called a spontaneous Kundalini.
No, what you think of as a spontaneous awakening is, I had it too. It's an accidental discovery of this energy.
Would you like to talk about the experience?
Yeah. So my first accidental discovery of this energy was through an acid trip. I was 33. I had done many things. I had never seen anything like this. And I took this acid trip in London. I was living in London. I had lost my business. I had a dysfunctional girlfriend. Life was fucked up. And of course, at every time life is fucked up, a shaman comes along and says, Raja, ye do beta. And he gave me this acid and I freaked out. It wasn't bad. It was wonderful. And that was the first time I really thought, oh, wow. There's another dimension of reality.
Yeah.
And I had read all these books, right? And I thought, well, I don't want to keep taking acid because each time I then have to take acid, then I come down, life is the same boring life again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be permanently wired, in that way,
Yeah.
right? So the first one I discovered, I didn't have Muktananda at that time. I found Yogananda first.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into Kriya Yoga,
Mm.
right, with SRF, and I did the correspondence course. And 12 months later, I was a Kriyaban, and then I became a Kriyaban and all that stuff. And there was too much religion there. I was not religious, right? I mean, to hear Krishna and Christ talked about all the time fucked me up, right? It was like really bad. I was like, fuck it, I don't want this shit, right? And for me, it was a no-brainer to be a biohacker, to be a hacker, to be explore. Yeah, I didn't mind having some metaphysical ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but to be told that it's all Christ and Krishna was too much, you
Hmm.
know. So then I went to Ramakrishna Mission and I took initiation there. Then I did different things, right? But I started practicing the mantras with the kriyas. And that was when the experiences started happening
Yeah.
for me. And so by 7 years later, because I was haphazard, I wasn't practicing. I would do it once in a while. I'd come back and do it. And then I started doing it diligently.
Mm.
And then in 2006, I had this huge awakening.
Mm.
What I call 1,000 suns just shattered in my head.
Would
you
you
know.
want to talk about what happened after you had that experience and what transpired? Give us like a day to day.
So I had many spiritual experiences before that,
Hmm.
right? Because of the work I was doing. But none was life-changing.
Hmm.
When something like this happens, like the acid experience was life-changing. It made me go, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
This was life-changing.
Hmm.
This was life-changing.
Hmm.
Because first it lasted for 2 or 3 days. And it wouldn't go down.
Hmm.
It was permanently kind of vibrating, like a pulse.
Yeah.
So at first it was just like ecstatic bliss all the time. And then it was like a pulse, like a pulse, like a pulse. And I'd go to sleep and the pulse would come back. And I'd get
Hmm.
up and the pulse would be back. And it was like somebody had moved in and occupied my body. And I was possessed by the devil. If I'd been in a Christian family, they would send me for exorcism right away. You've been possessed by Satan. Off you go. So you can understand why they call it possession because, and I didn't particularly have a dark night of the soul as such, right? It wasn't like with having existential crisis. I was a creative director in New York. I was making good money, but I found it very irritating after that,
Hmm.
and I'm sure most people who have these experiences come back to life or the job and they go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I need to make our weddingday.com look better or Coca-Cola look better? Or should I do something else? Should I do something else?
A massive detachment and sometimes even a fact of, looking at all of that reality from a negative state comes into the play, which I realized after a while could not be the right way of thinking,
Yeah,
but
you're right.
you start hating it.
Well, that's the more important word. It was disgust.
Mm.
That the material life seemed not the material life, the pursuit of the dollar seemed disgusting.
Mm.
Or the pursuit of selling shit that people don't need.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Yeah.
So the first stage of the mother awakening in you is you start wanting to resonate.
Yeah.
And so you look for things to resonate with, like other people or practices and I wasn't taking psychedelics. I stopped taking psychedelics, right? I'd stopped, right? And so I was doing music, I was doing arts, I was doing other things to fill that resonant frequency requirement.
Yeah.
Sadhana, learning other practices, And then I discovered the teachings of Guruji Amritananda and his Sri Vidya teachings. And I learned the Shat Chakra Japa by YouTube. I got it on YouTube, like everybody else does. I was the YouTube initiated into Sri Vidya.
Yeah.
And then we moved to India. My wife had a difficult pregnancy, so we moved to India. We had just gotten married when I had the awakening. We moved to India that year, 2000, next year. So in a way, the mother conspired to move me to India.
Yeah.
It was like all of her plan, swine. She and I have a very weird relationship. Okay, I shout at her, I love her, she beats me up, we have that relationship.
The first time I heard someone say that, he said in Hindi that मैं माँ को उल्टा टंगा दूंगा. And I was like petrified. How can you say that about mother? Now I get it.
It's a very personal relationship. Like there's a lot of shut up. Fuck you. And she slaps me a lot. And so if I was doing stuff that was off resonance, I'd fall ill. I'd have problems. The contract would fail. If I was in resonance, everything would work.
Yeah.
So you start to figure it out. So I moved to India. And even then I thought, no, I have to do corporate work. So I did Coca-Cola. I did Alchemist Group.
You tried.
So then I said, no, I'm going to make films and I'm going to do something, make money the same way, but do something more resonant. So that was a big change for me. So 2012, I did a TED Talk that in Bangalore, and that got me talking about these things. But I didn't start teaching until 2015, 16, when I started talking. Actually, my initial plan was to debunk gurus. I was going to go around and defrock all of them and prove them to be frauds. That how to produce Rudraksha or how to produce things by magic. We can do all that. That's a tricks, right? And I wanted to show that these are all, you're being suckered, you're being exploited, don't do it, right? And I was making films about gurus and teachers, so I was doing that, right? And, I got to know Guruji Amritananda. And he was the most sweet. He was a quantum physicist who at 48 had an experience like I did, much bigger. And he went and built a temple city to the goddess, Devipuram in South India.
Beautiful.
Now run by women.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. And so I went to see him in 12, 13, and I got, and initiation with him was not initiation. It was conversation. And then I would understand and I would experience.
Yeah.
And it was like over and over again, we'd have these conversations. And then I made a film on him. And it's on YouTube if you want to see it on Guruji. Just type Guruji Amritananda.
Yep.
My film will come up. And that changed my life. Because suddenly I discovered what the goddess meant. That what I was experiencing was an architecture in my body of petals and energies and nadis and places that you could tap into. And that changed everything for me, that moment.
Can we go back to the journey? It did take you years to understand and resonate with the energy, or was it like an instant thing that happened? Like, were you instantly in resonance with the energy, like how you said earlier, like equal partners, or was it like took years to understand it?
Actually, there's a beautiful quote in Abhinav Gupta that says that he said that I was like a bumblebee going from teacher to teacher of the tradition, collecting honey to put into the honey pot of my own heart, right? So I had started to put together a jigsaw puzzle that wasn't filled completely. And I didn't see it all for years. But I began to sense that there was one. There was a mosaic that was coming. That was showing itself to me, right? Then it became Shakti, then it became inner, then it became all these things. And the more I experienced, so I took initiation from amazing teachers like Shubhendu Lahiri, Yogiraj Siddhanath, all these great teachers, other Swamis. I went to people, I learned from people who were dead. I learned, I had downloads of dreams of Bama Kepa and Guru Rinpoche and things like that. So I was in this, and the other part of it is you can't tell anybody. My family thought I was insane. My wife understood that I was insane. But who are you going to tell that now I'm going there because I have to meditate for 3 days, and do this sadhana. So I became a mystic. I said this in the last talk we had, that there's a difference between a spiritual person and a mystic. I became a mystic. I wanted to put this mosaic together for myself. And that was the big thing. And then I got a language for it. Then I got an understanding.
Hmm.
Even today, I'm always learning,
Hmm.
you know. The gurus now are different. They are more, lot of intuition now.
Hmm.
Less direct transmission required.
Yeah.
You know, I think of something and something will happen.
Hmm.
And it'll come, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like that. It's the gifts of the mother just keep giving and giving and giving, you know.
And did you had moments of doubt about this whole thing?
No, because I was, you know, I approach everything as a challenge,
Hmm.
right? So I was looking to master it.
Hmm.
I was not worried about whether it was true or not. I didn't care. What I was experiencing was true, and I knew that. It wasn't. It was I could replicate it.
Hmm.
I would see the same sun in my third eye. I would have the same horripilation in my skin. I would have the same heart explosion.
Yeah.
I would have the same spinal cord feeling. I knew how to do that. So it wasn't, it was scientific. There was no, oh, it was the mother came and now she won't come again.
Hmm.
None of that.
Hmm.
None of that bullshit.
Hmm.
It was regular,
Hmm.
right? And, you know, I was still, so I was making films. I was doing sadhana. I was meeting all these people, right? So for me, I never had doubt.
Hmm.
It was, to me, it was an adventure. So what I would suggest to everybody is don't treat this as your reality being shattered. It's not. It is your reality being expanded.
Hmm. Beautiful.
And instead of thinking that it's going to claustrophobic and kill you and all that and destroy your family, no, you're going to expand. You're going to become a better person. You're going to grow.
Hmm.
Your consciousness is growing.
Yeah.
You're becoming, remember what we said at the beginning? That substance, that biosphere, you're becoming now closer and closer to that.
Yeah.
And so how can it be bad? Right? So for me, there was no doubt.
Hmm.
But there were days where I didn't want to do anything.
Hmm.
I just, you know, didn't care.
Hmm.
But there was never a doubt. It was not like I would go and, it's all lies. No, no, no. Because as soon as I come back in, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, you're here again, you know. Then I shouted her. But she is not a she.
Hmm.
It's not like I have a goddess standing next to my face.
Hmm.
No. It's a feeling. We
Mm-hmm.
call it madhyama, the feeling that comes. So she comes as feelings. You know, the voice of God is not a voice.
Yeah.
It's a vibration. And you got to tune into it. You got to listen to it. Nature is talking. People are talking. You can vibrate. So words are also vibration, but they'll come.
Hmm.
It just vibrates. It just vibrates.
Hmm.
It just vibrates. So I've become a much better tuning fork and a transmitter now. That's why I can teach.
So, taking from that, would you like to talk about what happens to the entire nervous system?
I have no fucking idea.
Your perception.
No, 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 no.
You earlier talked about that a lot of gifts come, a lot of siddhis come, and we've seen it in the Indian tradition that sometimes the pursuit starts by desire for that, but it's ideally an outcome of it. It's like a milestone on the path. Would you like to talk about what all transpires in the process of this taking shape?
So ask yourself a different question. If I gave you infinite power, what would you do? Okay? In your consciousness right now, would you use it well?
The outcome would be driven by my state of consciousness, which is to serve.
Absolutely. So you're saying that, but you don't know.
Mm.
If tomorrow $10 million just landed in your bank account,
Yeah,
you know, you might be buying a yacht and going away. You know, we don't know what you're going to do,
true.
right? You might say, fuck the poor people. I don't give a shit. I'm going to go live the high life, man. I'm going to Monaco. You know, like,
Could be.
I'm going to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca. I'm going.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to do, right?
Mm.
So we talked about this before, that desires are endless.
Hmm.
Ichha, right? Endless. So if I get these powers, is my first objective to fulfill my desires or to surrender to these powers? What am I going to do? Right? Now, the catch-22 is, and this is the lesson you learn, is that the less you want to use it, the more you will get. Does that make sense? How does that make sense to you? Tell me.
In my perspective, see, somebody like me comes with a lot of conditioning around it,
Sure.
right? And the conditionings,
Everybody, by the way.
conditionings are what we've seen others do it. You know, we've seen others misuse it at times and all of that. And we've seen good examples of people using it well too, right? I don't fully understand.
You.
Two sides of the coin. One side is, I'll be honest as much as I can. There's one side that is in deep surrender, that is saying, I can't believe this is happening and I'm surrendering to it. And then there is the other side that is, oh, look, it's happening. You know, that I can sense sometimes ego attached to it as
I
well.
should insta it immediately.
I should insta it immediately. Dada knows.
Selfie with the goddess.
So from my state, it's these are
That's
the
the
two
problem. When you do the
realities.
selfie, she won't come. There's no goddess to come on the selfie.
Yeah.
No. So people confuse humility with suppression of desire. They're two different things. Suppression of desire is like punishing yourself.
Yeah.
No? I won't eat this because I'm so strong and I'm going to suffer for the cause, right?
Yeah.
I won't do this. I won't do that. I won't. Oh my God. The world is full of that, right? Torture, self-torture to prove that you are authentic and worthy. Right? That's so full of shit. Humility is different. Humility is, oh, I'm not in control. How? What fun. There's a whole universe at play. And I am a conduit. Let me flow. Let me dance. Let's see what happens. Right? Totally different. One says, I don't have any free, I have willpower, so I'm going to suppress everything. And the other says, I have willpower, but it's that willpower. The universe's willpower, not mine. And now I'm going to flow. I'm moving in that direction. And if I teach anything, that's what I teach.
Yeah.
Is move into flow with this universal dance. We call it the dance of Shiva and Shakti. No? We started with that consciousness, the body's energy, trying to connect the two with the wiring, you know. One of the symbols we use in this work, and I hope you put the picture here now, is the symbol of Ardha Narishvara. But don't use a crappy one, please. Take a nice one, okay? Ardha Narishvara is half male, half female. That means at my ultimate state, I am neither consciousness nor energy and body. I am both. No? Yeah. There are two ways of looking at Ardha Narishvara. One is half male, half female. Yeah. There are three actually in the tradition. One is half male, half female. One is male, female sitting next to each other in harmony. Right? So Shakti's got a Trishul, Shiva has got his Trishul, and they're all sitting there happy. And sometimes they have Ganesh and Kartik and all the Nandi all there. Right? The third is Shiva and Shakti in union. Yeah. Sexual union. That means Parvati is sitting on Shiva, right? And there's a union, a complete, you can't tell where the penis ends and where the vagina begins. It's all like one big loop. You don't know, right? There is not even gender. It's just whoa energy, right? So if you look at those three images, when you're in flow, you're one of those three in a way, right? I'm neither this nor that. I'm both. or I'm in just perfect union of both,
Hmm.
right? So this is how this is what Kundalini awakening does. It forms those unions for you. Sometimes I'm male, sometimes I'm female, sometimes I'm both, and sometimes I'm neither,
Hmm.
right? And I just got to drift into la la land, just to drift, right? And so I can play.
Hmm.
So to be what we do is play.
Hmm.
But it also means that everything I react to is part of that game.
Mhm.
So if I'm doing a business meeting, which one is coming out?
Mhm.
The masculine or the feminine, I love you.
Hmm.
Or it's not male, female. It's like feminine meaning emotional principle.
Yeah.
Masculine meaning assertive. Will, we call it will and grace,
Hmm.
right? Will and Grace. It used to be a bad US comedy called Will and Grace about a gay guy and a woman living together. It was like Will and Grace.
Hmm.
So, Will and Grace, this is Will and Grace. Sometimes I can be willful, sometimes I can have grace,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I just leave it to her to do
Hmm.
it, the mother.
Hmm.
Sometimes I leave it to him,
Yeah.
Shiva, consciousness to do it. There's always a choice.
Hmm.
So, resonance is a choice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? When I say resonance is a choice, how does that feel?
It is me using the raw essence of the gift, the inherent gift I choose to believe we all have, to be able to taking control is not the right word for it, but kind of acting from that state of sovereignty that I can choose to make this happen. I can choose to live with this feeling.
Mhm.
I
You used a beautiful word, sovereignty.
Hmm.
What does that mean for you?
Being in following my inherent knowing,
Mm.
listening to my inherent
Mm.
knowing is sovereignty.
Or this higher me that's in me.
Yeah.
One of the practices we do in this work is to bring the mother into you and sit in you
Hmm.
so that you and her are together, right?
Yeah.
Or Shiva is with you. We say the beam of light comes down
Hmm.
and sits in the Manipura. This is the Linga Mudra,
Yeah.
right? And you sit there and the beam of light has come down. So whenever you see a Shiva Linga and a yoni, that's what it means. It's the beam of consciousness coming to the Shakti of your body
Yeah.
and forming union, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in that state, I am Chandi, I am Shiva, I am both,
Hmm.
right? I can choose what to do. No?
Yeah.
I can choose. So I think that what I want to partake today is to how to choose.
Hmm.
That Kundalini awakening is the art of preparing the body to receive that magical light and beam that's coming. When it comes, you get to manifest it here in your Manipura, then you take it to your heart and you distribute it.
Hmm.
Now, that choice you make in distributing it is how you're going to live in the world,
Yeah.
right? So if you're in a meeting or you're doing transaction or you're trying to raise money, you can change the frequency
Hmm.
and flow with what frequency brings that money
Yeah.
or manifest. This is what his real Siddhi means.
Hmm.
Siddhi does not mean I'm going to have this superpower and I'm going to become extremely large, extremely small, invisible. I
Yeah.
can go into your head and mess with your brain. No.
Hmm.
Siddhi means consciousness.
Hmm.
Now, can I use that negatively? Absolutely.
Hmm.
But you're going to get karmic consequences from that.
Yeah.
You will suffer.
Yeah.
You'll get cancer. You'll ill. You'll lose your family. Most people who are that powerful lose everything,
Hmm.
even though they love what they have.
Hmm.
They think the money is all they want or the
Hmm.
power. They're alone normally,
Hmm.
a lot.
Hmm.
I like to be alone, but with all this goddess inside me,
Hmm.
then I'm never alone.
Hmm.
That's the other thing we teach is that Kundalini awakening teaches you sovereignty, freedom, but also self-love.
Hmm.
That means you are not alone anymore. So you're not trying to always fill the void with bad relationships or bad lovers or bad family values or whatever. You're sovereign.
Hmm.
You're free. You choose how you want to relate to everybody. And now they have to bend to you.
Hmm.
Not to you like bow, but bend in your energy.
Hmm.
So you're in control, right?
Hmm.
So this is a very empowering practice.
Hmm.
That's why the civilization is so scared of it.
Yeah.
Think about that. Why has it always been suppressed?
Hmm.
Why has it always not been allowed to be practiced?
Hmm.
Think about that.
The reasoning is even at the larger new age, whether that's with governments or with policies and all of that, it is the control and the power that is trying to come into the play. And practicing and living with this is going against the current of that.
It goes against the need for humanity to be in slavery.
Hmm.
You know, Nietzsche called it the slave mindset, right?
Hmm.
You know, we talked about in the last talk about the camel, the lion, and
The child.
the child. But let's not forget that it's more about if I have sovereignty, and you
Hmm.
use the word sovereignty, that means that I choose what freedom looks like for me.
Yeah.
So I choose to do this work because I need the money for my family, but I choose it.
Hmm.
I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Sovereignty means choosing,
Hmm.
not forced to slavery to do it.
Hmm.
So everything you do in life, you want to cultivate a sovereignty mindset,
Yeah.
which is to choose.
Hmm.
That I choose to be in this family. I choose to be in this community. I choose to be an Indian. I choose to be a woman. I choose to be alone. I
Hmm.
choose to be whatever.
Yeah.
And after a while, nothing bothers you
Hmm.
because you don't give a fuck. You understand?
Yeah.
It's not giving a fuck,
Hmm.
right? But choosing to contribute, right? Choosing to participate, choosing to pay your taxes
Yeah.
is choices, right? But sovereignty means your attitude doesn't affect me.
Hmm. It's not to be carried like a sword that I'm anti something immediately. It is very subtle.
It might start like that, but after a while, sovereignty means power.
Hmm. You're right. It starts like that. It does. That it suddenly feels like you're immediately against something. You come across as, you know, not very
Look,
nice.
there's two types of things that happen in the world. One, if you see injustice, obviously you don't want to see it.
Hmm.
So you're going to act.
Yeah.
Something's wrong, say so.
Hmm.
Whether it's starving children in Gaza or whatever, you don't want to see it.
Hmm.
So you got to do something. That's wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm anti-Israeli or I'm anti this or I'm anti that.
Yeah.
It just means this is wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Hmm.
You know, in tantric practices, you just say stop.
Hmm.
Don't do that. You're hurting us all by
Hmm.
doing that,
Hmm.
right? It doesn't mean I disagree with your politics.
Hmm.
It just means this expression of your politics is hurting too many people.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Hmm.
Right? So that is an instant ban.
Hmm.
Stop. Whatever you can do to help that stop.
Yeah.
Right? The other is the stories we then tell.
Hmm.
Now I'm an activist. So I have to go and join some cause and become
Yeah.
something. That's where it goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
I can still be a great activist and run my corporation.
Yeah.
But my corporation has ethics and values and won't invest in that, won't do this, won't do that. That's a choice I make.
Hmm.
I don't have to quit my corporation and then go and fight
Right.
or become maha activist.
I think it's also bringing from a thought of that once you get onto this path and awakening start happening to you, the immediate answer is not to leave the world and now you are a guru or a teacher. You can't just be that. You can still play the role you were playing earlier and do it better.
I hate the word awakening.
Hmm.
I really do. Because it's what? You're asleep? You're stupid? What? All we are trying to do is cultivate presence and awareness.
Hmm.
How conscious are you? Not how awake are you.
Hmm.
Everybody is awake, walking like zombies in the world.
Hmm.
So fuck it, yeah. Are you conscious? Are you present?
Hmm.
Are you here with me? Are you worried about the cameras? Are these people in the room?
Hmm.
You don't give a shit.
Hmm.
You're only talking to me. That's presence. No?
Hmm.
Transmission is presence.
Yeah.
People say, how you have so much power. Fuck you. I don't. I have focus.
Hmm.
If I look at you, I will enter you. That's focus.
Yeah.
But if I turn to him, now he'll get my focus.
Hmm.
Now, can I distribute my focus to many people?
Hmm.
No. But I can vibrate in such a way that many people can be affected.
Right.
But if I'm looking at him, I can't be looking at you.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
There's a lie. Then I'm going, dum, 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 ADHD. So when I do public talks and all, I talk to one person. Everybody gets the vibration, but I am really communicating with one or two people. I choose 2, 3
Hmm.
people. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. I've seen that.
So unfortunately, they get the awakening and the boomerang into awareness, and they get they freak out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a
But
stupid.
everybody in that audience will feel like they're the most important person in the world to me.
Yeah.
That is the secret.
Hmm.
See, one thing I'll say is that if you think of me as a religious man, fuck you, right? If you think of me as, oh, he's so spiritual, please, right? But if you think of me as a shaman, as a mystic, as a change maker, as a disruptor, now you're talking,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm not here to help you pacify your soul.
Hmm.
Are you kidding? I'm here to kick you in the ass and shake you up and wake you up to your reality and
Hmm.
be present. Now, if that doesn't mean that, there was one of my favorite teachers in history was a man called Gurdjieff, right? And Gurdjieff used to start an event and he'd sit there and just stare at people for like 5-10 minutes. And everybody would get nervous and start fidgeting. And then he'd slap his hand and go, wake up!
Hmm.
You're all asleep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hmm.
You
I've seen you do that in public. You're constantly looking at 3-4 people. And they're like, oh, he's talking to us.
Wake up. No, but if you're going to be a consciousness seeker today,
Hmm.
then you've got to disrupt yourself.
Yeah.
You can't just take it as it is. That, oh, it was in that book and this man said this and this man said that. What do you think? What's your stupid question?
So technically, all the hackers out there that are roaming around trying to experiment and failing and succeeding and doing whatever. And
Good for them, yeah.
I mean, it's working. They are
I
the
don't
people
care.
for you.
Good. Huh?
So I have a stupid question.
Yeah.
A very stupid one.
I'm very angry now. But angry not at you. Just angry at this fucked up world we live in. Like, go on.
So I'm going to bring it back to the topic of Kundalini and the
Oh,
ways you can
Kundalini,
awaken
Mundalini.
Kundalini.
Poor girl. She's so highly overrated.
I have this.
Your questions. All right.
My
fine.
questions that I talk to people
Throw it
about.
away.
What do you want to learn about Kundalini? I'm gonna still ask away. Yeah, taking the liberty. This has gone in a different tangent, but coming back.
Okay, what's the stupid question? Go
The
on.
stupid question is there a right way to wake Kundalini up? Because some people say that, okay, psychedelics, sometimes sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes
The answer
Shakti.
is yes.
Mhm.
Contact me. Actually, contact Natasha. Contact Natasha. Contact Natasha.
I don't
She'll guide you. She'll guide you.
Let's go to Peru.
Yes. The answer is yes. Is the surest path to Kundalini, becoming part of your life, is Bhakti.
Mm.
Devotion. Second surest path, yoga. Kriya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, any of the yogas, Hatha Yoga, all can also awaken. But it's not as sweet as Bhakti.
Mm.
Sweetest part is Bhakti. Third path is Jnana, study. It'll eventually, like a click will happen when you're on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Then you suddenly realize that, oh, that's what it means. And the fourth path, which is the hardest but the best, Bhakti is the best, is to see everybody as divine, as Kundalini Ma.
Hmm.
Karma yoga. Just like serve.
Hmm.
Don't be a narcissist. Serve. So the ideal is to do bhakti and karma and raja and jnana all
Hmm.
in one life.
Hmm.
That's the ideal. Right?
And there's a lot of talks around Shaktipat. Would you like
Shakti?
Shaktipat when the guru
Yeah.
does that for you? But is that awakening?
See, today you listen to me do Lam Bam Ramyam and something sparked in you.
Hmm.
Let's say, of 100 people watching, 30, 40 felt, ooh, something rippled.
Hmm.
And then maybe it starts to tickle in their hearts.
Hmm.
And it starts to continue to grow and grow, and they can't stop it.
Hmm.
And they need to go and do something with it. They need to talk to somebody. They need to go and learn a practice. They want to find out what Radha talked about and go and do Lam Lam and do all that. That is Shaktipat.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a transmission. That means I'm using my calmness, my stillness, my Shakti, and rippling it to you. And if I do that, are you awake? That part of you, your guru inside you is waking up.
Hmm.
Now the guru inside of you wants to be the guru and you are saying no. No?
Hmm.
So how do you train that self to? So you're not training the guru. You're training yourself to get out the fucking way
Hmm.
so that the guru can take over. Your own inner guru, your Shakti.
Hmm.
Now all a guru should do, Shaktipat, coach, guru, is help you with that and get out of the fucking way.
Hmm.
Okay? My job is not to move into your house and take all your money and live with you. I don't want, I
Hmm.
don't, are you kidding? I have my own life to live,
Hmm.
right? But narcissism forces people to want to have adoration, want to
Yeah.
have devotion, want to have structure. If you look around the culture of gurus, how many of them have lineage plans? Have nurtured somebody to be an equal teacher to them? How
Hmm.
many? So few, it's not even funny. Even Dalai Lama, they can't find another Dalai Lama. Right?
Hmm.
He is such a character. No? But there are many monks who are as great as he is in the system,
Hmm.
in the Tibetan Vajrayana system.
Hmm.
So you will find a Rinpoche that will come and be a good communicator, a good teacher. They're there.
Yeah.
Right? But when you look at the guru culture, it's so hard.
Hmm.
Because ego, narcissism, devotion, obsession, these things drive these things. No?
Yeah.
So if you're going to adore a guru as your Ishta Devata, don't come near me.
Hmm.
Go, do it. It's good. That's your bhakti.
Hmm.
Go and do it. But then you're just a bhakti yogi.
Hmm.
If you want to be all four, now we're talking.
Yeah.
What gurus help people do, and that's the one part I do like about this culture,
Hmm.
is that it teaches them to do seva. It teaches them to not think about themselves. It teaches them to kind of do practice,
Hmm.
discipline, right? It teaches them to, but the truest form is bhakti.
Hmm.
Because there, only that is my ishta, is
Yeah.
my desire, is my God, is in me.
Yeah.
And everything becomes that for me. And so I will serve because that inner goddess is saying serve.
Yeah.
And I have to listen to that.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me that.
I think we've seen even the greatest of hackers and yogis come to bhakti by the end of it.
By?
By the end of it, it's just bhakti.
Yes. But it's not just bhakti. No. There's a stage beyond bhakti, which is I am a vessel for the divine to flow through into the world.
What do you mean by that? How do you?
Bhakti, still, there's a me and an it.
Yeah.
What if it becomes me?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do I act in the world?
Mm.
That's the stage beyond bhakti.
Mm.
In Tantra, we call it Annupaya.
Mm.
I am that. Or in Vedanta, they call it Tattvamasi. That you suddenly realize that you are it.
Yeah.
And when that happens, then you are in true mode.
Mm.
So that's why bhakti is still the greatest, because it is the closest to that.
Mm. Yeah.
No ego, serving. So I give you an example. When I was doing my earlier practices, I learned this from the Ramakrishna monks. If you're eating, feed the mother
Mm.
and then eat. It's a psychological thing. Now I'm not alone. The mother becomes more alive. When I'm deciding things, talk to the mother.
Mm.
What do you think?
Mm.
Should I do this? Then shut up. Like, there's a lot of shouting goes on.
Yeah.
If I'm serving somebody,
Mm.
a client, a student, see the mother
Mm.
coming through to bless you through that person.
Yeah.
Little things, right? This is how bhakti becomes me, right? So this is what bhakti means.
Mm.
That I see the divine in, not forget the word divine. I see this beautiful flow of the universe in everyone, in
Mm.
everything.
Mm.
And I'm also the living example of it right
Yeah.
here. Yeah. This is what it means. It's not a
Beautiful.
stupid question, it's a great question.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I think even like the conversation flows, it comes down and boils down to this particular thing, that it is the oneness nature of this reality.
So we go back to that first thing we started with. If all of this is one substance,
Hmm.
and I'm just a little speck that's come into being for a little while, then two responsibilities I have. I must be a fucking good speck,
Hmm.
right? So let me do the best I can to be a fucking good speck.
Hmm.
And the second is, I'm going back to that whole substance. So I am that substance also.
Hmm.
If I understand those two things, Shiva and Shakti, done.
Beautiful.
I think we'll end there today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rajada. It's been another enlightening conversation. Where it's that's the case with you, right? I mean, we can bring in questions, but at the core of it, you bring us back to that center, saying it's a reminder. I think you serve as a reminder to many of us to go be that in the world.
And live well. Be
Hmm.
a good speck. Don't be a puny little chakku speck that's going to die and be forgotten.
Hmm.
Leave a good footprint in the world. My father used to share one beautiful poem with us that I want to share with all of you, which is that words of wise men all remind us that we should make our lives sublime
Hmm.
and tranquil, so that we can leave behind us footprints in the sands of time.
Hmm.
Isn't that beautiful?
Living light as a feather, actually.
Just, you want to leave footprints, then be sublime, be light, let the grace flow through you into the world. That's it.
Beautiful.
Stop worrying about whether you're doing right or wrong. Just go, flow.
Hmm.
Chalo. Jai Ma.
Thank you. Thank you,
Jai Ma.
Rajada. Jai
Jai
Ma.
Ma.
Jai
Jai
Ma.
Ma.